In today's episode, I really want to talk more about how we can help ourselves and how we can help our own mental health, how we can help ourselves in the midst of a crisis when our children are struggling. Welcome to Coming Home to Autism. The one thing I've learned over the past 2 years of the journey we've been on is I really needed to look at myself, and I really needed to learn how to support myself. You know, when you look at these self-help books and these videos and these TikToks of morning routines and wellness routines, it just felt a little bit unachievable for me because I don't have any family around. I didn't have a partner for the majority of the past 2 years. I didn't have anyone, so it was just me and the 3 kids. Everyone always says you need 8 to 10 hours sleep. And yeah, that's just not going to happen. You know, you get a baby, it doesn't sleep, it'll sleep by 2, it'll sleep by 4, it'll sleep by 6, 8, 10. No, my children have not slept ever. And if one of them sleeps, the other one wakes up. So trying to sleep and get 8 and 10 hours sleep a night is just not achievable for me. So I do try and be gentle on myself. In the morning, I don't get up at 5 a.m. and do my lymphatic drainage. I get up and I crawl down the stairs and make myself a cup of tea. I try and do this mindfully because I feel like my brain races a million miles an hour all the time. I've probably spent all night awake with one of the children. In the middle of the night, we don't think straight. So I'm thinking 10 years ahead and what happens next, and I get a bit overwhelmed. And sometimes just trying to clear your mind of anything is really good for you. But how do you clear your mind of everything when you have everything on your shoulders? For me, doing that is by doing things mindfully and trying to do things slowly. I'm sure you've all heard this word mindful and thrown around quite a lot, but what does it actually mean? Mindfully just means I literally just try and think about what I'm doing, even just watching the water go into the kettle and just trying to focus on the water going into the kettle, getting a cup out and getting tea and just putting it in, or coffee or whatever you drink in the morning, putting the water in the tea, watching the water change colour. And I put on some music. I know I was picking up music a lot before, but I put on some calming music and just listen to it and just try and drink that tea with just gratitude and feeling grateful. The fact that we're here another day, the fact that the sun is shining. I try and go outside and just take a few deep breaths and just breathe in and breathe out, and then I'd put my feet on the ground even if it was cold. It brings me back into the present, and I think that's really important, is trying to get out of your brain into your body. If you can't get outside for a walk, jump on your child's mini trampoline, even for 5 minutes. I'm terrible at jumping on a trampoline, but I do it because even if it's just for a minute, I just shake it off. I put the music on, I jump around, and if I laugh at myself doing it, even better, because I have to shift my mood pattern. The other thing I try and do, I'm going to say try because I'm going to sound like the biggest liar right now. I try and, put cold water in my shower. I've maybe done this twice last year. When I am really stressed, sometimes shocking my system does actually make me go, oh, and again, it stops me thinking. Do you know what I mean? Like it just kind of resets my system a little bit. So I kind of have a warm shower first, and then I go a bit colder and a bit colder, and then I blast it at the end, and then I'm like, ah, and then I jump out. I also find cleaning really helps me. I just like my space to be clean, clutter-free, because I feel like everything gets on top of you. Like if the laundry gets on top of you, if the house gets on top of you, it can make me feel worse. So looking after my house is important for me. A lot of people use having a glass of wine in the evening helps them relax. I actually found that not to be the case for me. So last year I gave up alcohol completely when Dylan was going through that really stressful time. I'm not a big drinker anyway, but I like a little glass of wine every now and again, but I just found that it was making me more anxious. So I completely cut that out. If you do have a support network around you, please try and tap into them. If you are a single parent, if your ex can have your child, for even if it's a couple of days a month, go to the gym, go for a walk, try and get out of the house, because I got really quite bad anxiety myself of actually leaving the house. I think I got so used to being in the house that I would find going out really stressful, and then I kind of isolated myself from my friends a bit because I thought, well, I don't even know how I'm going to tell them. And I know everyone tries to help, but they're like, oh, have you tried this? Have you tried that? And you're going, yes, I have tried everything. And that in itself, I felt like I was explaining myself again. I felt that was draining. So, sometimes I would say to my friends, I want to see you. I'm so tired. I don't really want to talk about Dylan. I don't really want to talk about autism. And actually, a friend of mine last year, she was going through a bit of a hard time as well, and we walked around Kingston Lacey, and it's a National Trust property. So if you're not from the UK, basically like a big old estate house with pretty gardens, and they had these little music stations around, and we sat there and we were listening to this classical music, and we both looked at each other and just started laughing. We didn't even say anything to each other. We both knew we were going through hard things, and we just sat there in each other's presence, and that was really nice too. In the home, obviously I tried to keep things as normal as possible for the other two. It was very difficult because we couldn't have play dates, but I tried to organize things for them. I tried to organize one-on-one time with them. I tried to organize, mental health days where I took Luca out for a day, or we went away to a hotel for a night, just Luca and I, and it was lovely. And again, we got friends or family to come and help look after Dylan. That's not always possible. So if you're at home with your other children, try and have a movie night with them. Try and get like chocolate and sweeties and things you normally wouldn't do. Maybe get a pizza and sit and watch a movie and just try and be in the moment as much as you can with them. Now I had to get up over the movie about 3 or 4 times to go and deal with Dylan, but that does help. When you are in the middle of a crisis, and your child is in the middle of a crisis, and I think when they're younger it tends to be a bit more physical. It's about making sure their outside world is okay. When you have a teenager, a lot of it is internal. When your child is younger, they go on the floor and they might have a tantrum, or they might hit their head, or they might be more, I felt like when they're in that space, I knew how to hold him, hug him. When they're older, that dynamic changes. They might still hurt themselves or punch themselves, but you can't really stop that because they're now strong adults. So when this first started happening, I got very distressed, but the more emotional I got, the more heightened I got, the more I was pleading, like, please don't do this, don't do this. It made him worse. He really fed off me. So I had to learn to almost like quieten myself, and have a very calm, almost like a meditative voice. Meditative, is that the right word? Okay, here we are back on the words that I can't say again. Very just calm, and I'd almost like shallow my breathing a bit. So when he is really upset, before I go into the room, I just take a really deep breath. And sometimes I have like a hairband that I put on my wrist, and sometimes even just pinging it, again, to bring myself back to my body, and take a deep breath, and I go in and I say, it's okay, darling, I'm here. I know this is hard, but it's very much about lowering your voice down. All of this and that, and I can be quite, I use my hands all the time, but I can be quite expressive in the way that I speak. Dylan sometimes doesn't always understand this. Like if I'm excited, I can see him almost watching me going, I'm like, oh no, I'm really excited, I'm really happy. Or happy tears. He doesn't understand that at all. He's like, why are you crying if you're happy? And I'm like, no, I'm just really happy. These are happy tears. So when he's calm, I then come out of the room and I've got like the whirlwind in my stomach. I feel like I want to be physically sick. I've suppressed my emotions so much in that moment. I need to release it. So sometimes I'd get a pillow and I'd literally come out of the room and I'd go, and I'd get a pillow and I'd scream in it. Or I'd come outside and I would just shake, or sometimes I'd put on music on my headphones really loudly because I just wanted to scream. We have to learn as parents, as adults, to emotionally regulate ourselves. And this can be really difficult. It can be really difficult when you're stressed, you're anxious, you haven't slept, you've got no support. But it's really important to try and regulate yourself, because you're only going to make them worse, which makes the whole thing worse. And I think also reminding myself that this too shall pass. And then when they're calm, that's when you need to come back to yourself again. So I love herbs and things that smell nice, like rosemary, lavender. I grow lavender in my garden. You can grow it in a pot. But sometimes I even just cutting the lavender and putting it in my hands and smelling it, or putting it in a tea, or, cooking and trying to do that intentionally. And I know that sounds all very wishy-washy and very like, oh yes, I'm going to, like Gwyneth Paltrow and Goop. I'm not that. It's more like chucking the rosemary, but oh, that looks pretty. And being very gentle on myself and being like, you know what, we're okay. Also trying to think one step at a time, not thinking too far ahead. When you're thinking, your brain is racing. do you know what? Let's deal with today. Today we're doing okay. And I know I've spoken about it before, but we look for the glimmers. You know, we're not going to get this big turnaround. We're not going to get this big, amazing moment that we're going to put on Instagram. And I know I'm guilty of it too, of putting happy photos up because I want to share the positive rather than the negative, because everyone knows what the negative looks like. Let's try and focus on the positive. But our positive might be, hey, he gave me a hug today. It's 5 minutes of he came down and spoke to us. He went outside for a minute. He smiled. These are all little glimmers that I hold on to and go, okay, today hasn't been that bad. And we're going to wake up again tomorrow, and knowing that this too shall pass. Have your mantras. This too shall pass. It's going to be okay. You know, the rainbow comes after the rain. Whatever works for you, have them. Write them down. Put them on the fridge. I think also trying to focus on the other two, because the mum guilt, the parent guilt, the dad guilt. Oh, I'm spending too much time with this child. I'm spending too much time with that child. Even if it's a check-in before they go to bed at night. I rub the other two's feet with magnesium butter. I put little lavender drops on their pillow, just little routine things. I remember last year I was really stressed and someone said, take a bath. And I was like, if I take a bath, my house could burn down. I'm not sure I have time for a bath. So, you know, you can put, again, lavender or rosemary or herbs or whatever with a bit of salt into a bath and put your feet in so you can run out if someone calls you, which happens all the time. But it's little things like that. Love yourself a little bit. You know, it is difficult, and I know that everyone says, take a spa day, go get a manicure. Sometimes finances don't allow for that, but maybe you can buy a nice nail polish or something that makes you feel good and do it at home. Like, you can still do little things that make you feel good without having to spend money. If you're time poor, don't have support. If you do have support, great, lean on them, tell them what you need. You know, sometimes I used to get so overwhelmed that I, you know, Deliveroo myself something, or I Deliveroo myself milk, because the thought of getting dressed and trying to get the kids in the car to go and get milk was too much. Sometimes that grief is so overwhelming, it's debilitating. So it is just about also recognizing that, not staying in that moment, but recognizing this is hard, but I'm doing good. I'm doing okay. And also the other thing, I think I've mentioned this before, on Instagram, I don't have TikTok, don't know how to work it. It's too fast for me actually as well. I feel like my head goes, whoo. But on Instagram, I follow pretty things, happy things, you know, decor of houses, or I don't know, flowers, cooking shows. I don't necessarily follow all the autism stuff, because again, that can be too overwhelming. And I'm just like, whoa, I'm living this. I'm living it and breathing it. And I also need to have a life for myself. I also found that, you know, looking at other families, other autism families, neurotypical families, it's a natural human instinct to compare yourself. And comparing is dangerous, because people will always put on happy things on there, and you're sitting there at home going, well, it's all very well and good you guys going to do that. I can't do that. I can't afford to do that. I've not slept all night, so I can't get up early and go to the gym. I try when I can, because it does really help, but that's great. We all know what helps us, but sometimes we cannot get there. But it's about thinking outside the box. It's about modifying what we can do. I know they have all these videos on YouTube, do exercise videos on YouTube you could do at home. That never happens. I've got weights. You can't see it, but I've got weights sitting over there. They've been there for about 5 months. I've not picked them up, but they look good. It makes myself feel better. And every time I look at the weights, I go, really must pick them up. But I don't, and that is okay. It might be I'm brushing my teeth and I do a few squats instead. I don't know. Pick up Naya, throw her in the air. That's my weights. It's good, isn't it? But no, comparing yourself is dangerous. Don't do it. Compare yourself to yourself. I'm doing a lot better than I did last year. That's good. I'm going to put on some pretty clothes today. I am not going to wear my gym gear today. I'm going to wash my hair. I'm going to put a nice conditioner in my hair today. I'm going to put on perfume today. All these little things sound ridiculous, but added up, they all make a difference, and they all make a difference on how we feel about ourselves. So if you're going to compare yourself to anyone, compare yourself to you. Another good thing to do actually, when you are in crisis and you feel like you cannot go on, which I have been there, I have literally thought I am going to walk out the house right now. I cannot do this. I had months of Dylan jumping on the bed screaming every night. after the hospital. He had such bad PTSD, and I had the other two in bed with me, and I'm trying to protect them, protect him, and I'm at my wit's end. And I'm going, this is not a life. This is not a life for me. And when you're in that moment, that's when you get the strength from within you, and you go, yes, you can. You can get through it. And it is very isolating, it's very lonely, but you really need to try and get yourself back into your body. And another really good way of doing this is you get a bowl of water with ice and you put your hands in it. It hurts and it's cold and it's freezing, but my gosh, you won't think about anything else but your hands being frozen. And I know that sounds crazy, but in that moment, it just, again, it's that shock tactic for your body. It's that one thing of, okay, my hands are in the cold water, ow, ow, oh my God, that's cold. And it just takes the edge off. That sounds crazy, doesn't it? But it does. I did see a homeopath, and I took some homeopathic remedies I found helped. If you are really struggling with your mental health, I went to go see the doctor a few times. I think I just cried. And he said to me, because I thought at one point maybe I needed to go on antidepressants. I just felt so low. And I just didn't know how to help myself. And my doctor was really good. And he said, look, the way you're feeling is circumstantial. Going on antidepressants isn't going to help your situation. Now, it might help other people's situations. For me, he said it's not going to help my situation because it doesn't change my situation. And he said, I think that trying to do these other things first will help you more. Some parents really rely on it and it's really great for them and it's a game changer for them. So again, talk to your healthcare provider and see what they think is the best thing for you. You know, the past 2 years, I've had to give up everything. I've had to give up my friendships. I didn't see them very much. I gave up work, gave up filming, gave up the therapy work I was doing, which I love. I love helping people, but I just found that I just had nothing left, and I lost myself in that moment. And I would just write down every night what I was grateful for rather than what I wasn't grateful for. And I always try and stay in that positive mindset as much as possible. And that doesn't mean I'm sitting here going, I'm so happy all the time, because I'm not. And if you can get a night away somehow, some way, whether it's in a year, 2 years, have something to look forward to for you. Because the autism feels like, I'm saying the autism because it's not our children, right? Our children are our lives, they're our hearts, they're everything. But this is something they have to deal with. It's not the whole of them, but especially in the teenage years, it is very, and when they're younger as well, it's quite consuming of your life. But it's important to know there is a life also outside of that. And, I've been single for a couple of years now, and I had to get back on the whole dating site thing, which is another video in itself. But I had to remember I also have a life. This is my life too. And, getting back out there on the dating sites, because quite frankly, I wasn't going to meet anyone walking down the street because I don't even walk on the street. So I had to go on dating sites to meet somebody, which I did. But it took me a long time to get to that point of where I deserve happiness. I'm not letting Dylan down by taking time out. I am not letting my children down by taking time out. I'm actually setting a good example for them. I also found that when I did spend a few nights away from Dylan, when I came back, he was so happy to see me. It actually brought his level of happiness up and he wanted to talk more to me. So that was a big turnaround. I thought that I had to be here all the time, and I thought if I go, he wasn't happy when I left, and I had about 25 million messages every day. But again, it was like, I love you, I need to turn my phone off now, I don't have any reception for a minute, and just putting the phone down for a second. And that's hard. So to begin with, if I went away, I had him on my phone the whole time. One time, this is a true story, I was on a date and Dylan was on FaceTime. The date didn't know he was on FaceTime, but Dylan was actually on my phone, and so he could see me. He was on mute, but he wanted to see me. And I thought, well, this isn't going to go very well. But backing away a little bit did actually help him as well. But it's knowing that you also deserve happiness. You're not a bad parent if you back away for a day. There are people that can help. If you don't have family, if you don't have the funds, there are charities. There's the Autism Foundation in the UK that you can contact. I'm not sure about the rest of the world, but You know, there are charities out there. You can talk to your social worker, you can talk to your healthcare provider, you can talk to your council if you're in the UK, talk to your, you might be assigned a social worker who can help you access some carers funding. There are places in the UK where your children can go for a weekend. That didn't suit Dylan as such because it made his anxiety worse, but I get a bit of funding every month, so I can have someone come pay someone to look after him for a night or two so I can get away. So there is always options. You are never stuck where you are. And it's about just looking at what else is out there. So on Google, type in carers allowance, carers help, carers respite. Carers respite. So wherever you are in the world, see what is available in your area, because luckily with the whole autism awareness and acceptance now, we are getting more and more help, and the more we raise awareness, the more charities are getting on board and the more they can help us. But it's just about looking what is out there. This video may feel a bit overwhelming. You may feel like I still can't do any of those things, and you might feel really stuck, and that is okay. If there's 3 things that I can hopefully give you that you can try today is 1, sit with your emotions. Validate yourself. Know that it's perfectly normal to feel like you do. 2, one thing you're grateful for. Not 5 or 10, just one thing you're grateful for. And 3, just focus on today. Just get through today. If you had an apple today, you're winning. If you ate something healthy today, you're winning. If you ate anything at all today, you're winning. So just focus on today. Tomorrow will be what tomorrow's going to be. So I hope this video helped you guys, and yeah, please do like and subscribe to us. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below and I will try and get back to you. And thank you so much for continuing to follow us and supporting us. And thank you for all the love you show us, and we'll see you next time.